want to talk to you. Hey, you got some beefs.
Hit him up! Move him out!
We want to know what's bothering you in the world of sports. Give Murph a call at 312-644-6767. That's 312-644-6767. And tell him what's beefing you in the world of sports. What's Your Beef is brought to you by Brown's Chicken Sandwiches and Catering.
It tastes better. Look at the phone lines are jammed. That means Chicago sports fans are beefing about things in the world of sports. There's a shock. Hey, not a shock, though, is the terrific lunch you'll have today at Brown's. All the Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana locations. 22 minutes after 12 o'clock, you haven't had lunch yet. A big Italian beef waiting for you. Juicy, the way that you used to have them when you were a kid back in the city, or you're a suburbanite all your life. It's what Dad and Grandpa used to rave about. They're back. The best Italian beefs Dad ever had, Grandpa ever had. Brown's has them right now. Italian sausages, Maxwell Street Polish. Let's get to the phone lines and see what you are beefing about today. And Southside Rodney is first in. He's beefing, I'll bet, about his White Sox. Hey, Rodney.
Hey, Mike, this is my first time calling on What's Your Beef.
Hey.
I had to call in and chime in with you. You know, my beef is everything you said about Ken Griffey Jr. previously is true.
Mm-hmm.
But if you remember in the game yesterday, the Sox had men on first and second, and nobody out, and Cabrera came up to the plate.
Yes.
And now one time he attempted to put down a bunt. And although the Sox got one run out of it, you know, you're going against Josh Beckett, probably the best pitcher in the American League.
Mm-hmm.
And he had no reason. I mean, Ozzie let him swing away. He got the sacrifice fly, but the Sox was in a situation to get 2 runs out of the inning instead of 1.
Here's what it was. Swisher in the 8-hole led off with a duck snort. Uribe with a base hit. You're exactly right. That had first and second, nobody out. Bottom of the third inning with no score on the board. Classic spot usually, you would think, like you say, Rodney, for your leadoff hitter. And sure, Cabrera's got a little pop in the bat. He can sting it. We all know that. But you're saying lay it down there and see if you can't get 2 men in instead of the one they ended up with.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, I'm really not a fan of Lando Cabrera. I was one of the guys who was glad when he came to the White Sox. But now, I mean, I can see why he's been on a lot of teams because as a veteran, he's a dumb baseball player. Very dumb.
Well, Rodney, you're a long-time caller and a first-time beefer, and for that alone, my friend, I'm going to send you over to visit my friends at Brown's. All right, Rodney?
Hey, thank you, Mike.
Hey, hang on. Hook up my guy, Rodney. He's been calling for 16, 17 years. First-time beefer. Maybe you haven't been to Brown's for their Italian beef, Italian sausage. You would be a first-time beefer at Brown's. It tastes better. Remember, the combo, that's the favorite. That's where Frank Portillo, the president, puts together the Italian beef and the Italian sausage. In Chicago, we call it the combo. Let's go next to Lee in Streamwood. Hello, Lee.
Murphy, good to talk to you again.
Hey, Lee, good to talk to you. What's your beef, buddy?
Listen, man, my beef is the White Sox defense. You couldn't be more spot on. Everything you said in the first 10 minutes of your show is absolutely right. I am sick and tired of my beloved White Sox acting like a freaking softball team. You got to put baseball players out there. You know, I'm not really sure if all 3 Sox center fielders would have made the plays you're talking about. For sure, Brian would have. You know, and I think you got to make up your mind. Play the kid in the center. You know, play Swisher at first. Put Konerko in that mix once in a while just to keep Paulie somewhat happy. You know, put Junior out in the mix once in a while to make him happy too. But damn it, day to day, our best team out there, our best chance to win is Swisher at first and Anderson in center. And you're right. Last night was a game we gave away. Now, obviously, you know, 2-2 is a pretty good split. Most Sox fans are relatively happy with a 2-2. But damn it, that was a game that we could have had.
Well, you know, Lee, and you know, I'm obviously a Cubs fan, but I love baseball, and I never understood the trade from day one. So we are not second guessing you and me. If Kenny Williams is listening right now, no one understood the deal because you already had, as you pointed out, sort of a 16-inch softball team. If you got 2 or 3 of those guys, that's fine. That's fine. You don't want 4 or 5 of them.
Exactly.
Hey, Lee, good to hear from you. Phone again, okay?
Hey, you take care.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it very much. What's your beef? Oh, look at the fans are beefing. You won't be beefing, though, when you find out at Brown's. The new gourmet chicken sandwiches. Now, think about this. You think about Brown's, you think about chicken, right? The the juicy, crispy, boneless Browns, the chicken filet, just like your favorite Browns chicken. Check it out. 3 of them. One of them you're going to love. In fact, I love all 3. The Chipotle Bacon Club, the Fiesta Bacon Con Queso, the Bacon Mushroom Swiss with the little honey Dijon. These are the 3 gourmet chicken sandwiches at Brown's, and they've all got bacon on them. Who doesn't love bacon? Let's bring up Valdez on 294. I used to call it the Tri-State Tollway. Hello, Valdez.
Hey, how you doing, Murph?
God, what's your beef?
My beef, again, is with the Green Bay Packers. I'm telling you. I do not like the way how they put their wordings when they call a trade. Because when they traded Brett Favre, they said it is with great sadness that we traded away Brett Favre. You don't say that. You say that kind of wording when somebody passes away, not when somebody gets traded. Are they looking for sympathy or something?
Well, they must be looking for sympathy or something, but I never thought of it that way. But with great sadness, we announced the trading. You're right. Save that for true tragedies, right?
Exactly. I mean, just like when Walter Payton passed away. I mean, look what happened with the great Walter Payton when he passed away. It was great sadness that he passed on. You don't say that when somebody gets traded. That's ridiculous.
Nicely done. Valdez, good to hear from you, buddy.
Take it easy, man.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you calling in. Aaron is out at Elgin. Hello, Aaron.
Hey, Murph, I want to pile on Griffey Jr.
All right, well, we do have Tool of the Week, so make it a beef. Beef me somehow.
Right.
Concept.
All right, I will.
All right.
Yesterday, Griffey was standing on first. There were 0 or 1 outs, and Swisher hit a shot to Youkilis. Youkilis steps on first base and fires the ball down to second, and Junior is standing in the middle of the base path, not running.
He never created the pickle, the hot box, the rundown, as we used to call it as kids, right?
Well, there's no reason for a rundown in the situation. I mean, he's either going to be out at second on the force play, or I understand there might have been confusion if Youkilis caught the ball.
He stepped on first,
right,
which took the force off. And then you want to create the hot box to hope they throw the ball away. You know, just, of course, if you have a bad knee, like the Tribune says today, then maybe it is a little more difficult. Quoting Mark Gonzalez in the Tribune today, Ozzie Guillen described it as a minor knee injury that Griff has been playing through. It's Murph. We'll get back to a second round of phone calls. What's your beef? My friends at Brown's. Hey, honey, you're cooking every night. I'm bringing dinner home. I'm going to Brown's. I'm bringing home the golden delicious chicken, all the side orders. No cooking, no cleaning. I'm bringing dinner home tonight because you are my wonderful wife. I wonder if Dana's listening. Dana, I better be bringing some Browns home for us. It tastes better. It's Murph till 2. What's Your Beef shall continue, and plenty more baseball and Bears talk right after 1 o'clock. The Score.
Hit him up, raw high.
Ride him in. Cut him out. Cut him in. Cut him out.
Ride him in, raw.
Everyone apparently in the industry knew that the broadcasters, Harry Carey and Milo Hamilton, had a major beef with each other.
No, not those two. Welcome back. Murph with you. Second round of phone calls. What's your beef on The Score, where we allow you, the Chicago sports fan, to beef about, well, just about anything in the world of sports that has you beefed up today. Phone lines are jammed. That means my friends at Brown's know that you're listening and thinking about a delicious gourmet chicken sandwich and Italian beef, Italian sausage. Me, I love Maxwell Street Polish, yellow mustard, grilled onions. Let's go back to the beef lines. Lombard Johnny on The Score next. Hello, Johnny.
Hey, Murph, what's going on?
Hey, nothing, my friend, but you got a big beef, I understand.
Yeah, I got a huge beef with certain Chicago Bears defensive members who are claiming that they're going to have a great year, and some of them even going as far as say they're going to win a Super Bowl. I'll tell you what, Murph, I have a better chance of my boss calling me up and say, come on in the office, you're doing a great job, I'm going to give you a raise.
Thank you very much. Now, I have no problem with players saying that. Back in the offseason when Ryan Dempster said, hey, you know what? We're shooting for the World Series. That's what you're supposed to say. That's what your attitude is supposed to be. That's what the makeup of a professional athlete is supposed to be. I have no problem with a member of the Chicago Bears saying anything positive right now because Lord knows they need it. They need it. The real problem is...
Hey, Murph, what's your beef?
Oh, Steve Kaufman, I thought you'd never ask. Rebuilding.
Rebuilding.
Yes, rebuilding. See, here's the thing. The players should be saying, we're going all the way. We're shooting for the Super Bowl. It's the organization. It's the GM, the coach. In fact, Butthead was on the score earlier this morning with Mully and Hanley. Kevin Butler, listen to what he said about should management, meaning in this case the Bears front office, level with the fans.
If a team comes out and says, we're sorry, folks, but this is a rebuilding year, and we've got to make some tough, hard decisions. Chicago Bear fans will stay. They're not going to want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear it, but I think honesty goes along.
Credit.
Yeah, give
they
give
know
them
what
credit.
they're looking at.
Absolutely.
Fans know what they're seeing here.
Butthead. In fact, you know what? Let's revisit that in the 1 o'clock hour. Would you, the Bears fan, be feeling a little better about the whole disaster that is laying out here for the 16-game season if at least the front office said, you know what? We're actually rebuilding this year, so we would love you to just deal with us and live with this because it's going to be a bad year. John and McHenry is next on The Score. Hello, Johnson.
Hi, Murph. How are you?
Well, fine. John, you're up in McHenry, beautiful McHenry. How could you have a beef about anything?
Well, I'll tell you what I got a beef with, okay?
Yeah.
As we recall, Sunday night was a nationally broadcast game with ESPN.
Yes, it was.
I believe it was Joe Morgan and I forget
John Miller.
John Miller.
Of course, yes.
If you recall at the beginning of the game, and every time Joe Morgan does the Cub games here at home or when he's in town, it's almost as if like he's not even talking positively about the.
Well, he hates he and Marty Brennaman. They hate the Cubs. They have an agenda. They're politicians. He hates Ryan Sandberg up and down the laundry list. Yes.
Right. And my biggest beef to Joe Morgan was at the beginning of the game. He said that the Cubs were slightly weak defensively, and in that game they made, as far as I remember, 2 key defensive plays in that game. One was by Fukudome, and the other one was by the center fielder Jim Edmonds.
Actually, I got my scorecard from home. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays highlighted. Ludwig was robbed in the 4th inning by Fukudome. Carpenter in the 8-hole was robbed by Edmonds, as you point out, in the 4th inning. In the 6th inning, Molina was out 6-3 on a terrific play by Cedeno and the tag play by Derek Lee. There was another 6-3 where Cedeno made an unbelievable play on Kennedy, and in the 9th inning, the final nice play by Fukudome. I got 5.
Yeah, okay. Well, as far as I remember, that game was a very good, defensive played game, and my beef is with Joe Morgan. Come on, give us some support.
And never later in the game did he backtrack, or not that he's going to apologize, but he didn't even say, boy, the Cubs are playing some great defense, because he had already buried himself with his inane statement earlier, as you point out, at game time.
Right, exactly.
I love it. Hang on, you're going to go visit my friends at Browns, all right?
Thank you.
Nicely done. John and McHenry. Go check out Browns. You know it tastes better. Do I have to tell you more about the gourmet chicken sandwiches? Bacon and chicken. Who can't resist that? Chipotle Bacon Club, Fiesta Bacon Con Queso, and the Bacon Mushroom Swiss, all brand new at Browns. You're going to love them. Hey, the chicken's the best. It tastes better. Just imagine on a nice sandwich with bacon. Jimmy's in Evergreen Park. Hello, Jimmy.
How are you?
All right, Jimmy, what's your beef?
My beef is with Steve Stone. I'm going to keep beefing and tooling him until he stops talking about the quote-unquote quirks in the Cubs' schedule. I never understand why he's got to do that. In one sentence, he says that they're the best team in the National League and they've got a great team stepped up, blah, blah, blah. But then he's got to always go back to, well, they missed Brandon Webb, or they played big games against the National League West, or a guy was hurt when they played him. When it happens to every team, whether it be the Cubs or the Sox or the Pirates.
You know what? Let me jump. Hold on. Let me jump in with you. He did it again Monday, where he still talked about 2 weeks ago how the Cubs, when they were in Arizona, did not catch up, did not face, is the right word, did not face Webb or Herron. But he always conveniently forgets to mention that conversely, Dempster and Zambrano were not in the Cubs rotation in those games. So it would seem to me that you would want to say, well, you know what? It was interesting that Zambrano and Dempster didn't pitch against the D-backs, just as their 2 big horses, Webb and Herron, didn't pitch against the Cubs. But, of course, that would not fit the agenda, would it?
No doubt. I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, it happens all there's different times. Different teams play different
Hang on! You're going to go visit my friends at Browns. Jimmy!
Thanks, Mark.
Hook up Jimmy in Evergreen Park. Let's go next to across the big pond here. Ross in Michigan on the score. Hello, Ross.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
I'm fine. What's your beef from Michigan?
My biggest beef is with these high-paid ball players, whether it be baseball or football, that have to showboat. They make a routine tackle. I don't care if it's – I'm a diehard Cubs and Bears fan, so I'll say that first. But I don't care who it is. They make a routine tackle, and they have to run out into the middle of the field, 30 yards out past the line of scrimmage, and hop and skip and thump their chest. And it's like, or the ball player he hits the ball, it's going, and maybe he hits it pretty hard. Instead of sprinting to first, get to second, the ball bounces off the wall and never goes out of the park, and they almost throw him out at second base. I can't understand this.
Well, here's what it is. It's today's society, it's today's culture. Guys like us, you and me, Ross, we remember when it was maybe more pure. But here's the real thing. You are showing up your other teammates. In other words, what you are saying is, I am more important than my teammates. I am more important than us winning the game. My personal stats and achievements supersede the team's success. And the managers have to let it happen now. The coaches have to let it happen because otherwise, you know what? You'd probably have no players if you got rid of them all.
And I agree with you 100%. You know, I'm 53 years old, and I'm old school. And if I saw a guy run out into the middle of the field, thumping after making a routine tackle, which he gets paid
what would you do?
I'd have knocked him in the next week.
Your own teammate or the opposition?
I don't care who it is. My own teammate.
Thanks.
It's just not. I remember Walter Payton handing the ball back after a touchdown.
Well, you know what? Some guys are classy, but most guys aren't. Ross, I'm going to take a few more calls. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Thank you.
I appreciate it very much. By the way, Vuk is on your side. Jeff Vukovich, Murph's nationwide insurance agent of the year for all your insurance needs. Why Vuk? Because he's a family guy. 29 years. Right there in Park Ridge. Solid as a rock. Vuk is on your side. We'll get back to the final round of Beefers after we catch up on a few things. Alan Northbrook, Jonathan Lincoln Park will get us rolling. 1 o'clock, plenty of Cubs, Sox, Bears talk. Sports Radio 670. The Score.
Donovan, I've got your mom on the line, and she's got a major beef.
Oh, it's been a very lively, effervescent, and raucous. What's your beef? It's very calm when you go to Brown's and order the Italian beef and the Italian sausage, and then you say, hey, you know what? On second thought, put them together. Call it a combo. Man, lunchtime beefs and Browns. Let's go next to Al, then Jonathan. Al in Northbrook. Hello, Al.
Hi, Murph. How you been, buddy?
I'm fine. Thanks for holding there. I want to hear your beef.
Well, my beef is, I'm not really a big beefer, but I'll tell you, I don't know what Kenny Williams was thinking. When he got this guy Griff, who's over the hill, I mean, past his prime, to put him out in the outfield, which was already slow, I mean, there's no question he lessened our defensive ability out there. It just didn't make any sense. Unless this guy was going to hit a solid 300 with extra base hitting, I mean, Brian Anderson can hit 200 getting singles. So I don't quite understand what my beef's with Kenny Williams.
You know, Al, I don't really mind a GM usually for rolling the dice. Don't get me wrong. You know, that's the GM stands for gambling man as well as general manager. You and I both know that. But it just didn't seem to fit. In other words, if you were a team that had a bunch of fast guys, singles hitters, maybe then you go, hey, let's bring in Griff and bat as a DH, if you didn't have Tomei, And, I mean, there might be a team, a GM. Let's say that, I don't know, the Dodgers, if they hadn't have gotten Manny Ramirez, but, they're setting you out. But the point is there had to be a team where it fit. I just don't think this was the fit.
Of course it wasn't a fit. I mean, listen, if he was hitting 300 with a couple homers, extra base hits, I can understand it. But there's no question he makes our outfield worse.
And let the record show, Al, this is not a second guess by me. And I have a feeling that when you heard about the trade on July 31st, because Kenny might be listening right now.
Hey,
and it's easy to.
Yeah. I called your station up and I said the same thing. I said, unless this guy is going to hit a solid 300, I said, or he can pitch.
Right.
I don't understand the trade.
I do remember you saying that, unless he can pitch. I do remember hearing you, Al. So let the record show it's not a second guess, and let the record show you're going to go visit my friends at Browns, all right, Al?
All
right, buddy, hang on. It's Al in Northbrook. He sounds like an Italian beef, He sounds like maybe Maxwell Street Polish. You know, you can't even find Maxwell Street anymore, but you can find a Maxwell Street Polish at Browns, just like your dad and your grandfather used to tell you about. My final beefer. Now, oh, come on. I'm having a good... Oh, you're a rough crowd. My final beefer is, ever since we let the listeners in free, the quality of the crowd has gone down. We got to charge $1 again. Jonathan in Lincoln Park.
Hey, Murph.
Hey,
my beef is with the Bears coaching poor responses to criticism.
Yeah.
We also have the Mushin Muhammad comment that Chicago's where receivers go to die.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Daryl Drake's response to that one?
Yes, I did, and refresh me. I read it. What did wide receiver coach Daryl Drake comment on? Respond.
He said, since I've been here, some receivers have gotten better.
Yes, he did.
And then he goes on to cite 3 choices.
Yeah.
Bobby Wade,
right.
Justin Gage,
yeah.
and Bernard Berrien.
Right.
Bernard Berrien, yes. Bobby Wade, he cites the money that Bobby Wade and Justin Gage got after we let them go for nothing because they were worthless here and they got other coaching and became good players. I mean, Justin Gage was great last year for the Titans. Bobby Wade was, I think, Minnesota's leading receiver last year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when they got away from Daryl Drake that they got better.
Well, you know what, Jonathan, sometimes, and it's great that the coaches feel comfortable talking to the microphones and the reporters. You know I would never want them to muzzle themselves, but sometimes it's a time, I think, where the coaches should say to themselves, I don't think a comment on this does anybody any good for the Bears or for me, myself, you know?
Yeah, I mean, especially when they sound just dumb.
Well, that'd be another reason. Jonathan, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Another raucous.
Hey, Murph, you have another beef?
I sure do.
What's your beef,
Murph? Steve, I thought you'd never ask. Just found out from Jesse Rogers the contract and the money involving Griffey Jr. Is this verified? You put it up on the screen. Is this what Jesse phoned in with?
That's right.
So Griffey made $12 million this year, which meant on July 31st he had a third of that remaining, $4 million. There was also a $4 million clause that the Reds would have to pay him $4 million to buy out an extension to kick in for next year. So there was $8 million on the table, and the White Sox, is this right? They had to take half of it. The White Sox are paying $4 million for Griffey Jr. for 2 months.
We're sunk, and we'll have to pay through the nose, and you know it.
Quite honestly, this is starting to piss me off.
No, don't get it. It's Murph. We'll be back at 1 o'clock with Cubs, Sox, Bears talk. We're going to talk about hustling, lack of hustle. We're going to talk about something that was said this morning also on the Mully and Hanley show by Kevin Butler. Says, you know what, the Bears front office, they should just fess up. They should just be honest with the fans. It's The Score back after this.
Thanks for participating in What's Your Beef. Join Murph for another edition of What's Your Beef. What's Your Beef has been brought to you by Brown's Chicken Sandwiches and Catering. All winners of the Mike Murphy Show are only eligible to win prizes once in a 60-day period.